Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's very special, extra foolish, extra April-y edition of Geek Pod. Guys, I already fucked up. I'm your host, Paul.
Yep.
The April Fools.
I'm Hugh.
Corbs.
And I'm Kev.
Now, guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, I have an update on last week. And so we did end up going out and we got our snake. The snake's name is Bruno. Bruno the snake. Oh, don't worry, Kevin. That comes later, not now. So we got Bruno the snake. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or if you picked up on this from the pictures I put in our group chat, but so my original plan to go with a plastic tub completely failed because I discovered there was no way to control the ambient air temperature in the tub because our house is cold. It's like 65, 66 degrees year round.
And Tate don't like the cold.
Not you too, Paul. Not you too. So
What'd
we
you say
ended
his
up.
pets don't like the cold. What?
Anyway, we ended up having to go out and spend way more money than we planned on. Got a nice Exoterra front opening setup. Got that home, got it all set up, got a ceramic heat lamp on it. Not getting up to temperature. Get a second ceramic heat lamp, plug all the holes on top. I took cardboard and wrapped foil around them so I could cover the top of the screen. Finally get it so it's going up to 90 degrees and the humidity is dropping like crazy. So I cannot get this thing to work. So I finally got it all set up yesterday, but I had to get a humidifier with a hose. I had to string the hose along my wall so there's no dips. I had to set it on, I don't know what you'd call it, a humidistat. Basically, it's from a company called Inkbird, and it's a device kind of like a thermostat. You plug your humidifier into it. There's a sensor in the tank, and when it drops below 50% humidity, it kicks on, brings it back up, shuts off. So it's constantly turning on and off, but it's doing the trick now. So we finally have the right setup and environment for the snake. It's just been a huge pain in the ass getting there, and expense. My wife tallied it up. We originally were like, maybe $100 for a snake and, $100 setting it up. $700 we've dumped into this thing so far.
Wow.
Unexpectedly, but
Now,
it's kind of like I got to the point where everything I'm trying is failing. I'm like, I just need to spend the money and do it right.
now, anytime she bitches about the cost of the snake, do you tell her, hey, we don't talk about Bruno?
Actually, that's come up several times.
I'm sure. And
She's
it's going
tried
to
to
keep
talk
happening.
about it, and I'm like, we don't talk about Bruno. And she gets so pissed. But the funny part was, on the way to the Reptile Expo, Avery asked me if we'd been there before to this particular building, and I told her, we've been there. It's at the same place the Teddy's cons always are. I told her, you've been to some comic conventions there, and I jokingly said, it's you've seen the room, but this time it's going to smell like reptiles and piss. Right? We're laughing. Tamara turns to me and says, "Yeah, before it smelled like old comic books and piss." Which was pretty funny. But yeah, that's going well. Outside of that, I am excited for Wrestlemania this weekend.
I can't wait.
I just, I don't think Cody Rhodes is showing up.
You don't think so?
I don't think he's even talked to the WWE. If you remember one of the last times we saw him, he said he's going to do something no one's ever seen before. I can't wrap my head around how they wouldn't get a higher buy rate if people knew he was going to be there. Have him show up on Raw, just don't have him wrestle until then.
We still have Friday night. But supposedly the angle he's going to work was with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? Nobody from WWE officially has commented. Nobody from Cody Rhodes has commented. This has all been conjecture by people on the inside. What if that was his plan all along, was generate so much buzz? Because you noticed last week the fans were chanting Cody
Mm-hmm.
When Seth Rollins was out there, even everybody in that fucking arena is in on this, and they all think he's going to show up. And what if he doesn't and just starts running Ring of Honor for Tony Khan?
Right. I think it might be a little bit of a letdown if that's what happens now, but
it's not WWE's fault because they
Right,
didn't do a thing,
right.
and
I
neither did
agree.
Cody. This was all created by the industry pundits. So
I
we'll
thought
see.
someone did come out and confirm that he had already signed, like on such and such day. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, but it's not anybody in his camp, anybody in WWE. It's just fans are saying, "Oh,
Was
yeah,
it
he
fans or
signed."
was it a different wrestler or something?
I mean, Jericho made a mention of it. But also, I mean, it's been like reporters and people in the wrestling news industry. I mean, that's a whole industry
True.
in and of its own. And I mean, nobody who's officially tied to either company has actually come out and said something.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless you guys can think of a different reason, I don't understand what they stand to gain by not revealing this ahead of time. I feel like it's bigger if people know what's coming.
Right, because right now, like if it comes to fruition, it almost feels like it's a work between both companies to generate it like this. And I don't see that happening.
I also don't understand why you would not have a buildup. Because, I mean, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, holy shit, that's a WrestleMania headliner right there. No buildup on this. And think about it. This doesn't make sense. So Cody's the EVP AEW, founds the company, leaves. Yeah, he might be going there for lots and lots of money. Some people said like $3 to $5 million, but Vince isn't going to give him creative control.
Nope.
All right. And the bigger thing is he's not just going to walk in and start beating up Vince's best guys.
Also true.
Third of all, Seth Rollins is on a losing streak, and he's one of their biggest people. Do you think that we're going to go into WrestleMania, his big debut, and he's going to lose to Seth Rollins? Or that doesn't seem likely, and Seth Rollins can't really afford another loss at this point.
Also true.
So none of this makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it goes. Like, at all.
I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me is that it's not actually happening.
Right, it's not gonna happen.
Well, you would think that they would want to have, like you said, have him show up on Raw and build up the suspense, and also be able to get more people to purchase WrestleMania.
Yeah,
or get or whatever, subscribe to their network to get WrestleMania or whatever. I think if he shows up ahead of time, you're going to get more people are going to want to buy it to see the match.
Oh shit! What happens now? Yeah,
right. If he doesn't show up and you promote him being there, people are going to miss it because they don't think he's coming or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. He should have showed up beforehand if he was going to be there.
It should have been this week if it was happening.
Oh, yeah. Monday. And that's too big of a match not to build up to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to figure you've got, Roman and Lesnar, you've got your big guys. Outside of that, I mean, who are the best workers they've got, the biggest, that the crowd pops biggest for? Like Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. I mean, they're big guys. And just the fact that they're not building up his match going into a 2-night WrestleMania blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely something on the boards for Seth Rollins, though, because they're not going to leave him out of WrestleMania.
Somebody said today they think it's Shane McMahon.
I thought Shane got released from his contract.
Vince owns the company. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Also
he might have said, Shane, you were an asshole at Royal Rumble. Don't fucking do it again. Now come back here and lose to Seth Rollins. But make sure there's a big spot where you jump across the ring or off something.
And crash through a table again, yes.
Yeah. And that would be an acceptable match, and he can take the loss.
Right, to give Seth Rollins his much needed win.
Anyway, this is taking up way too much time. But that's two time. I have aphasia. Talk about that later too. But yeah, that's all I got right
now. Okay, Corbs.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be back finally.
Welcome back.
So
welcome back.
As some of you know, I ended up with COVID. And if you have not had it, you don't want it. I'm going to leave it at that. It is a bitch. It takes all of your energy. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to eat. you don't want to get out of bed. I spent 3 days in bed, not wanting to do anything. I didn't even want to get out of bed to take a piss. It just completely drained me of every ounce of energy that I had. And it took probably another week to 10 days to get an appetite back.
Oh,
And you got the shot. You were vaccinated, weren't you?
Yeah, I got the Johnson & Johnson. I got the Johnson & Johnson shot, and I got the second. So I got the second shot, but I don't have the booster yet. So my son and I both don't have the boosters. We both ended up with COVID.
Really surprised it was that severe for you, even, just with the booster.
And mom has her booster, so she has all 3 shots, and she ended up sick at the same time. She had, and we tested her multiple times, and she never had it, which was great. She ended up with like a severe case of the flu. So all 3 of us were sick at the same time.
that sucks.
Yep. So that's why I missed 2 weeks, and then we were off for a week. And then I missed last week because I took my son to see the play Hamilton down at the Landmark. Me and my sister and my son went. And I have to admit, I was not expecting the play to be what it was. Excuse me. It was, well, I shouldn't say it was, it is a historical play,
Yes.
but it's all hip hop music. The cast is 90% ethnical. And I have to admit, the music was amazing. The show was amazing. My son loved it. He watched it on Disney when it first came out. Actually, the very first day that it came out, he watched it. He's like, I want to watch this. He sat in his room and watched the whole thing. I think it was like 3 hours long or 3.5 hours long or something. He watched everything. He's like, I want to go see it in the play. So I started looking to go to New York City to see the play.
Right.
Down to Broadway. Yeah, that wasn't happening. The seats I had here at the Landmark, down there were $1,200 a piece.
Woo.
Wow.
So I was like, nope. So I started looking to see if it was coming anywhere close. I mean, I would have driven anywhere to see it. I would have driven to Pittsburgh. I would have driven to Philadelphia. Found out it was coming to Syracuse. God bless Kelly. She sent me a link for pre-sale tickets.
Nice.
So I went on and got 3 tickets for Christmas for my son, for myself, and for my sister.
Nice.
So we went last Wednesday, and like I said, fantastic show. I would recommend that show to anybody that wanted to go see it. It's that good. The acting is fantastic. The songs are great. Like I said, I wouldn't deter anybody from going. I know a lot of people that have gone to see it. I saw a lot of people on Facebook that had gone and seen it. So if you ever get the chance to go and see it, take the opportunity to go and see it. And the Landmark, not a bad seat in the house.
Right. They just redid it, right?
They did. So we got seats up in the balcony. 3 rows up from the railing. Now the seats are a little close, so if you're tall and you're a bigger guy, like myself, my sister's on the bigger side too. My son is skinny, but he's tall. So he sat on the aisle, so he was able to put his legs out on the aisle, but there's not a lot of room in between the seats. The seats themselves have gotten a little bit bigger, but if you're on the bigger side, they're a little uncomfortable. But other than that, I mean, the seats were fantastic. I would have gotten seats on the floor, but they were a little more expensive. But again, fantastic show. I would go back and see if you wanted to go back and see, I know Cats is coming. They got a couple other plays that are coming or whatnot. I would go back and see another play there. It is that good. It was that nice. They put on a great show. The Landmark did a great job. And other than that, I just been hanging out at home. I've been sick. I was sick with COVID for 2 weeks, and then Hamilton, and then of course I ended up sick the last 2 days with God only knows what. I've just been like hacking up a lung and just kind of not really feeling all that great. So, but I did take a test, and I don't have COVID again. So, but other than that, it's been work for me.
Right.
So, I'm just glad to be back. I've missed coming on Wednesday nights and hanging out and not saying much and just sitting here, but
You're making up for it tonight. You've had a lot to say already.
Yeah, I did, and it's like I said, it's nice to get back and see you guys and hang out and whatnot. So that's all I got.
Well, welcome back. We're glad to have you back because I'm really fucking sick of doing movie reviews.
He did some pretty good movies, though. I'll give you that.
It did. I had free reign. I could pick whatever I wanted.
I was actually you laugh. You sent me the list that you did. That was one of the movies I was going to do. Was They Live today, but I got a good one for today. So
yeah, I think you do. Yes, you do.
Oh boy.
But let's keep this rolling. Kev, what's got you geeked?
Well, I was gonna talk about something that pissed me off, but it turned out pretty well. My wife got a new ride, which is a great thing. She got herself a new Riker. She had a Can-Am Riker 2020, and she ended up getting a new one because the new one's got a few more features on it that make it a little nicer for her. Cruise control and better suspension, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Told us about that. Yeah.
So I got into it a couple days ago to add some accessories that I got for it. I got some heated grips for it. I got some power ports for it. On the handlebars, there's these adapters you put on, and there's USB ports on one side, 12-volt socket on the other, a RAM ball so I can put a phone mount on there, and all the wiring that goes with that. And the nice thing about the Riker is that there's a company called Sling Mods that makes adapters, so electrical adapters. So you just plug in and go. Because on the Riker, there's a power port just under the left-hand side body cowl. You take this, cowl piece off, and you can get to the power port. So I plug everything in, had it all plugged in, had everything wired up, start the machine up. Nothing works. No power to the grips, no power to the USB ports, no power to the 12-volt, no power anywhere. Now, it shouldn't work with just the key on because there's no really way to turn the key on. It's just a key fob. So you got to actually turn the machine on, actually run it to actually get power to anything. So I checked a bunch of stuff. No idea. Maybe I have a bad adapter because these adapters I have plugged directly into the port that's provided by Can-Am for accessory power, which is nice. It's a little sticker right on there, tells you maximum of 6 amps, I think, maximum 5 amps per device. So total amps off of that is 6 amps. 1 amp could be one device could be 5 amps of those 6 amps. So anyway, so I know that's where it's supposed to go, and that's where it was in the 2020. Same exact place, same exact port, same exact little adapters I got from the same company. So I had to leave it for a couple of days because it got real late first night, and I just got done with it. I had to call it a night. Couldn't get to it last night, and then tonight I go back into it right after work. I go down, I got my multimeter, and I pull the adapter out, and I'm ready to check the power. I'm ready to turn the machine on. I'm looking in the port, and I'm like, boy, that looks odd. Get my little drop light, make sure I got my glasses on because my eyes suck. So, and I'm looking in there, and I'm like, well, where are the two little tabs that would carry the 12-volt power? And I'm looking, and I take, I feel around my finger, and I take a little screwdriver, and I'm gently in there probing, looking around. Well, the machine wasn't on, so I'm just looking for the tabs. They're not there. So I start thinking, well, wait a minute. Now, did they break? Are they inside the adapter piece? Because it went in and out really easy. It's not like I had to force it in. I look at it. Nope, they're not in there. So I look in with a light, and I look in real close, and I notice the back part of that little connector is solid. It was never cut out. They never put the power port in.
Ugh.
From the fucking factory. Now, I'm assuming that it's supposed to have power there because the port's still there. Now, no, you could say, well, they're just reusing body parts from the old machines. They didn't change a whole hell of a lot. So that's from the old machine, but the new one's got some differences. It's got a LED light on the front. They didn't have the extra power. Okay, why is there a sticker there telling me what the accessory power load can be maximum if there's not supposed to be power there? Now right. I don't have a wiring diagram. But I have already been into the fuse box, so I know that there is an accessory power fuse there. There's a USB port fuse because there's a USB port actually in the glove box. But and this might be the other thing too, is maybe they did that and they forgot to do this, or they made a mistake and put the sticker on. They weren't supposed to because it only goes on the other machines that don't have all these options. I don't know. I got to find out what the hell's going on. So that made me a little sour, trying to figure out why the hell that's not there. But why I ended up happy is because the heated grips I bought for her machine, there's different ways to do heated grips. There's a lot of different ways. You can roll your own. You get these little adapters that, you know, they tape onto the handlebar, and you put your own grip on it. You wire them in your own way because they've got just bare wires, and they got a controller, and you got to wire everything in, and you got to, you know, crimp everything down and solder it all together up to, you know, that's the one end of the scale. The other end of the scale is it's made by the manufacturer. You just put it on and plug it in. The system I bought is generic, but it's generic to the point where the only thing you got to do is provide 12-volt power. It does everything else for you, and it's a very, very good system. It's so good that it has a low power protection system. In other words, if you wire it directly to your battery and you forget and you leave them on, if the battery drops below 12 volts, it automatically turns them off.
Nice. Right?
So I have another motorcycle. These are the ones I put on Kathy's last machine, but I had the adapter, so I wasn't really worried about any of that. So I put it on another motorcycle I have that does not have any accessory power anywhere, wired it directly to the battery, never had a problem. Don't believe I'll ever have a problem. Got them specifically for that reason. So for her new machine, I was like, well, okay, the wire is long enough. I'm just take them right to the battery, no problem. It's got an inline fuse. I can pull the fuse in the winter to make sure that there's no possible draw through the winter storage, you know, all that fun stuff. So I wired that directly in, no problem. Well, it still leaves me with my accessory power on the handlebars. I had to figure out what the hell I was going to do. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about it. And I'm racking my brain. I'm like, well, I could run them to the battery. I don't really want to do that because now I want to provide a switch of some sort to make sure that they're off when they're off, so that there's no possible drain on the battery. I don't want to do that. I don't want to run directly to the battery. So I'm thinking about it. Fine. I said, all right, I got to be done for the night. Turned everything off, cleaned everything up, came inside, and I got thinking about it. And I said, you know what? There's two connectors that go to the USB port in that new glove box. And that glove box sits right there in a perfect place for me to wire directly in for this accessory line. So I went out with the multimeter and I checked it. There's no power to it when the machine's off, which is good. So it's keyed power. So the machine has to be running for there to be power there, which is perfect. It's exactly what I want. I don't want power to any of these ports when the machine's off. So I went on and I started looking around for some new 12-volt power taps. Now I've used some old ones that were kind of bulky and kind of crappy, and I really don't like them. What a power tap is, if you've ever done this, you've got a wire and then you put this adapter onto it and you can put another wire in there so you get power off of the wire without having to cut it and strip it and solder it and crimp it and all that. It's just one little thing to put on there to get the power off. They're normally ugly and they make it look like it's cheap and cheesy and just makes it look like you don't know what you're doing. These new ones I found are a T. So they go on in line and they provide a socket here that you put a spade connector on the bare wire and you just plug it onto the T.
Nice.
So nice. So I ordered a kit of those and I'll have those in a day or two and I'll be able to put it all back together, which means I'll be able to disconnect it if it ever needs to be repaired or fixed or taken apart for any reason. It'll actually look right. It'll be connected properly to the right wires that are keyed, power accessories. She's never going to have a situation where she's going to have something in the glove box charging and on the handlebars. And the most she's ever going to have on her handlebars is her cell phone.
Right.
So I'm completely not worried, even if she were to charge like a portable battery pack in her glove box and her cell phone on her handlebars, because the glove box has two ports. if she's only ever charging 2 things, she's going to be way under the capacity of what this thing can provide. I'm happy. I couldn't be happier the way this turned out. I'll call the dealership and find out if they can talk to Can-Am to see. It's actually BRP, Bombardier Recreational Products out of Canada. See if they can contact them and find out if there's actually supposed to be a power port there. Even if there is, I doubt very much they do anything for me. I'm sure as hell not giving them the machine back for this.
Right.
That's not going to happen. I guess I just like to let somebody know that that's not right. But or if it's not supposed to be there, then just tell me that, and that's fine. You know, I figured it out, so I'm not horribly worried about it. So my bad experience has turned into a good one because I figured out a way to install everything without ever having to worry about draining the battery while we're in the middle of a ride somewhere in East Bumfuck, Maine, or God knows where.
Right, out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's where I'm at. I'm happier than I was 3 hours ago.
Well, that works. All right. So I guess it's my turn. So what's got me geeked was Madison had her first cheerleading competition this past weekend. And you guys probably saw on Facebook already, but I wasn't there for it. I was home with Kylie. We were supposed to go to a birthday party which didn't work out. So I got the report back that they did their thing and they were waiting on their judging, scoring, whatever it is. I saw the routine. It was all right. It's what we expected from their group. And then Kristen sends me a picture, and I'll post it probably right here, right now, of Madison and her group all holding up ribbons. And I text Kristen back. I said, "Oh, did they get a participation ribbon?" They took first place. Wow. So I was pretty excited. Kristen wouldn't let me post to Facebook that apparently champions run in the family, since Madison and I are the only ones that have, championship trophies. But yeah, I was pretty excited about that. Proud papa moment. It's nothing real cool. But there is one other thing that I'm excited about, and it's a project that I've been working for weeks on. And I wanted to show it to you guys. And you know what? Just hit it.
What up? Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Jack Corbett. Kev's confused. He's never met Jack.
Hi, Jack.
But all I see is Kevin's rocking the most epic mustache I've ever seen in my whole life.
That he is.
This has been in the work for a few weeks. Actually longer than that, isn't it, Jack?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's been probably a month and a half, 2 months now.
Yeah. I happened to reach out to him one night while I was editing and was like, dude, what the fuck? And we talked everything out, and we decided that he was coming back. He was going to come back for a visit, and we decided what better time than our April Fool's show to throw you guys a curveball. So
Hugh,
Jack,
Corbs.
It is
Hugh,
great
Corbs.
to see you.
Good seeing you.
Freaking Corbett, I love it. I didn't catch that before. Jack, I'm going to step back for a second and give you a chance to reacclimate here.
Oh gosh. And Hugh, you'll be happy. I got my notes all printed out now.
I put mine in Word and I throw them up on the screen when I need them.
No, I love it. First off, what's got me geeked is just being with my family again, my Geek Pod family, and being with you guys again, just hearing your stories. And Paul has me, we're muted and my screen's not being shown, but I'm hearing your stories. You guys are all doing well, it sounds like. Corbs, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Hugh, with that Snake Bruno, and it sounds like your family's doing well. Wishing you all the best. No, I was taking notes. Sadly, I've been getting back into wrestling myself, so I'm excited for WrestleMania this weekend.
I knew as soon as you brought up WrestleMania that Jack was just chomping at the bit over there, and I kept watching to make sure he didn't take it off of mute.
I was close a couple times because, honestly, I'm gonna go a curveball as well. Vince doesn't give a fuck about you. He wants to keep that as close to the nose as much as he can. He doesn't care if Cody Rhodes is Raw or not. He will be there, but I wish they kept it a little better secret. It's just weird. I totally agree with you, though. It's just messed up. But Kev, nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Like I said, you're rocking a great mustache. I hear you're going to Celebration.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Oh. Same here, bro.
Oh, nice. 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 Yeah, we'll see you there then.
3 years in the making. Oh yeah, we'll definitely meet up. 3 years in the making. And Hugh and Corbs, you probably guys know this. Kev, you bought your ticket, what, 3 years ago? When'd you buy it?
20, yeah, for the 2020.
So COVID hit. My buddy that lives in California, we bought them for $180 for 4 days. And Kev, tell them how much they're worth now, basically.
I don't even know. In all honesty, I haven't been keeping track. My buddy and I are splitting up the different costs for things. So he had bought the tickets and he made some of the arrangements for Disney. We're going to go a couple days early, and we're actually going to go to Disney and do Galaxy's Edge and all that. So he's doing a lot of the arrangements on that side of it. So all we ever talked about was making sure that we kept our tickets. He was going to go no matter what, and I really want to go. It was my first one. I have no idea. I have a feeling that they're up there.
$1,500 for a 4-day pass.
Wow.
So you're not going.
You're hitting
Paul.
on a golden ticket, my friend.
Yeah, no, and we're definitely doing all 4 days. You know, we're in for the whole thing.
I will look forward to meeting you there. Maybe we can meet sooner, but we'll definitely meet up. But Paul, I'll give it back to you. What's got me geeked is from the bottom of my heart to you. Thank you for having me back, and I'm happy Madison did well last week.
Thank you. And Jack, I think if I speak for all of us, maybe except for Kevin, because he doesn't know who the fuck you are, but welcome home, brother.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, we really, really hoped. Was it the 100th episode?
Yes.
I think you reached out. You know, it didn't feel right.
Yep. I mean, he probably didn't watch it, so he doesn't know that he did appear on the 100th episode. But we did basically almost like an in memoriam for you.
Oh, I love it. I did actually see that. I was like, I actually went back. I went back.
He was scouting for this, is what he was doing. All right. Well, since it's been a while since you've been here, some stuff has changed. The show's a little more structured now. So just jump in where
More structured?
applicable.
Okay,
Yeah, because
Bruce
remember
Willis.
when Jack used to do the show, we would literally all just sit around the table and bullshit. Now we actually have segments and shit. So
It still goes off the rail though.
Really?
always.
We have
Yes.
we have segments.
Segments, not sex. That's not happening on this show. At least
This is
not as far
the
as I
April
know.
Fool's episode.
We still don't know what you're
It
doing under the
is
table,
whatever you
Paul.
want.
I mean, it's not the Valentine's Day relationship advice episode. But. All right, so let's move this along. Guys, what you playing?
I'm still playing 2K22.
Me too.
Nothing really to report other than I wanted to ask you, Paul. Have you gotten more into the showcase mode yet?
No, the only thing that I've done is My Rise.
Okay.
That's what I've been
Showcase
working
mode
on.
is fucking hard.
Is it?
Well, the whole idea is that it takes you each one takes you through a match in Rey Mysterio's career. You know, one of
Right.
the big matches. And I told you before how they cut out into video like mid-match, like it's crazy, and he starts giving commentary about what was happening at that point. But you basically you're recreating the match, so it gives you like little clues up in the upper right, like what move you have to hit next, and you have to keep going. You don't necessarily have to beat the guy badly or even win the match, because a lot of times I've only had to pin somebody once. Every other match I've done, you do the certain thing and then the game takes over and it shows you the rest of it. But some of those things are hard to hit. Like for instance, I had one where you had to do a running apron attack. So you basically get on the ring apron, run and jump on the guy on the outside.
Right.
So fucking hard to set that up because you have to get the guy out of the ring. You have to get him to follow you down to a point where he won't just come in the other side of the ring once you get up there. But once he's that close to you, the buttons change what they do. And I swear to God, I spent 40 minutes trying to hit one move the other day. I finally did it, but it was ridiculous. And I'm only doing it so I can open up all the unlockables. Otherwise I would. I mean, it's neat. It's neat. It's really cool what they did there, but it seems unnecessarily difficult.
Well, now wait a minute. With you having basically the gold standard version of the game, the most expensive version, it doesn't come everything unlocked. There's still stuff you have to unlock.
There's still stuff in the showcase mode. So, for instance, I wanted to download Defract is one of the best creators for the custom characters, and he had made that basically the best Chris Jericho that's available so far. But 2 of the parts were locked behind winning the Rey Mysterio versus JBL showcase match. So that I went to that, and that's what I worked on, because I wanted to get that Chris Jericho, and I did. There's also a really good Cody Rhodes in there. You should check out.
I think he might have done the same ones for Danhausen and CM Punk that I got.
Possibly. Defract is one of the big ones. What's the Status is another big creator. They also have 2K has brought on some of those creators now. They're actually hiring them to create characters for the game, which might mean you'll see less AEW from those guys, but you'll probably see really good quality stuff beyond that.
Nice. Yeah. I was showing you guys in there. This is also my what I'm playing, because it's the only thing I'm playing right now. I made my character. I showed you some pictures of me. You'll notice I had the strategically placed headband because my color palettes didn't match up, and I just have this fucking line on my forehead. So
you can equalize that. You can actually on the face you can pick a spot. I did,
but I think there was so many different shades in my face because with the shadowing and stuff on my picture. Because I didn't do a really good job with the picture I got. But my guy, since I'm not as lucky as Hugh, and my full name isn't in the game, so I'm Paul S. That's what I went with, and I'm big time Paul S., which Kylie hates. She was sitting with me while I was making it. She said, "It's just stupid." I said, "Well,
she's not wrong.
I only have so many options." But again, you'll probably see my picture here along with Hugh's picture there. And I'm going to screw them up when I go to put them in anyway. But as I messaged you guys both times it happened, I think it was just the picture with the accompanying tag that said "and new ... because I've already on my rise gone through, got the United States title from Ciampa, and then I think it was the other night. Maybe I didn't send it to you guys. Won the WWE title from Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So it looked like you went SmackDown, Hugh.
No, I went Raw as well.
Did you? Oh, because the picture you sent, it looked like it was SmackDown. My bad.
The picture I sent wasn't from my rise. The picture,
okay, it was just a match.
Yeah, because I wanted to make sure I had good control over the entrance and everything. So I could get a bunch of pictures that looked really good.
Yeah, you got a lot more pictures than I did. I've got like 30
so
far.
I did them through because the PS app, the PS app will now send your photos and shit to your phone on the app, which is really cool. So that's how I did it. So I took a video, and then through that video I went and snapped some pictures, and they showed up on my phone like 2 minutes later, and that's how I sent.
That's cool,
guys.
Nice. I'm assuming basically that's all on rails for us. Like the storylines are basically the same thing, other than what choices you make.
I guess so.
Did you get to go up against Ciampa for the U.S. title?
I've played 2 matches in my rise.
Oh, okay. All right.
So is my rise is that the career mode?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then there's also universe mode.
which is where you pick a character. That's kind of a career mode, but there's not a set story. My rise is supposed to be you rising through the ranks, whereas universe is just you're now part of the universe, and it just keeps booking you in matches. And
gotcha.
I mean, I guess there's an occasional cutscene, but it's not as developed.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is that all of your storyline building is through social media on my rise. That just seems weird.
Yeah.
And I also don't like the fact that when I'm not in my wrestling gear, they dress me preppy. I'm in like a collared shirt. I look like I'm going to work is what it is.
I wish
Collared
they had
shirt.
different voice options too.
Just that bro sounding dude. That's who you are.
Yeah. It's just the default voice. It doesn't fit at all.
Yeah. But
do they
loving
throw
this
in
game.
like legends in?
Oh yeah.
That?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, you're being trained by like Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg.
Yes.
It starts you off in the performance center. So I mean, it's neat. I mean, you're in the performance center. That's where a lot of it takes place at the beginning, at least. I don't know how it pans out later on, but yeah, I mean, and those are voiced cutscenes. And man, Road Dogg does not look like Road Dogg anymore at all.
He looks like an old man.
I've seen pictures. Yeah.
But and as you go further into my rise, like one part of it, Road Dogg basically tells you to imagine matches against legends. And so I did a couple of those, and I did against Bret Hart, and then I had to do one against Andre the Giant, and then I had a handicap match against The Rock and Stone Cold.
That's where I am right now.
That is not fair at all.
Yeah, that's where I was like, oh shit, and I just shut it off. I'm like, I'm not doing this right now. I don't have the time for this bullshit.
No, that one took me like 15 minutes.
Because you know what? I can guarantee you something. I would not lose a match in my head against The Rock and Stone Cold. It would not be that difficult.
Well, let me tell you, Road Dogg calls you out on that when that does, in fact, happen.
Yeah.
And you have to tell him that. And he's like, you lost a match in your imagination? So be prepared for that, because you kind of lose that one and continue on. Okay. But it was right around after that I got the hang of it. So I've kind of put a whoop into everybody else after.
You all right over there?
You got that? Okay.
I remember my first drink too. It's all good, man.
All right, but I think that covered it for Hugh and I. Kev, I want to jump to you so you don't get skipped this week.
Corbs is next, but I mean, I thoroughly expect to be skipped at the end of this after last week. No, I just let me just say real quick. It'll only take me a minute or 30 seconds. Thank you, Hugh, for referring me to Far Cry. It is now my favorite PC game, and it is the reason why I will build myself a new gaming computer, because I want to play the new ones.
Look what you've done.
There you go, Hugh.
It's a lot of fun. I like how casual it is.
Yeah.
I like how it's a lot like Just Cause, in the way that the main storyline just kind of hangs out, and you can just go along with it whenever you want, or you can do all the side stuff. Like I've been clearing the islands, clearing all the enemy outposts, whatever the hell they're called, and just so I can get the fast travel locations. And I'm getting better and better at it, sneaking around, and I love that the sniping and the sneaking up on guys and killing them with a knife. I love the main storyline with the goddess, not the goddess, but the woman there that's in charge of the local Indians. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good story. It's well made. For this being an older game, it's in really good shape. The graphics are nice, the controls are nice. There's some limitations. It's supposed to be an all-world kind of thing, but there's some limitations where you can't really do some stuff that you'd like to, different ways to climb the towers, or maybe, jump into a helicopter, things like that. But I'm always looking for my grappling hook and my parachute, but that's all right. That's fun. I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you, Hugh.
I'm glad to hear it.
So is this another one I should add to the library of games that I'm never going to get around to?
You can if you want.
Does it matter?
Yeah, seriously. For $9, I bought the deluxe version on freaking Steam. So I mean, I have 100 games on there I've never played and probably never will. So
sounds like you.
Kind of like my cabinet. Yeah, it's full. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up Saturday morning when I'm picking up my PS5. So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
You've said this before. I mean, is it really happening?
It's unless when I get there that morning, there's 20 people in line. It's really happening.
Okay.
So
All right.
I've gotten all the approvals and I have a plan in place.
But the wife said yes.
Yeah.
That's
Like I
the
said, I
only
got
thing
the approvals. Yeah.
It's written down for you, like a contract.
Yes. I think she's finally just gotten sick of me whining about it. So it's happening.
Did you have to agree to something else to get that?
No. Like I said, I think I finally broke her down is what it was.
So
You
that's
don't get
also,
I hope you get what I'm talking about, Paul.
Yes.
No. You know what I'm talking about, right? Between the two of us.
Oh. Well, no, that's a foregone conclusion no matter what we had to say about it anyway. So
Well, heads
But
up,
no, we
Paul, GameStop has a 1 terabyte Samsung hard drive designed for the PlayStation 5 for like $169.99, which is the
Okay.
best price. That's the one I installed it in mine like a week ago.
like an
you're
internal, not one of the externals.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
internal, and so you can save PS5 games to it, which you
Okay.
can't do with a normal external. And you really need it, as soon as you can, because you only get like 800 gigs, and I mean these new games are huge.
Right.
They're only going to get bigger.
And the fact that I'm going to be porting all my PS4 stuff over to it isn't going to.
Yeah,
do
what
me
you
any
can
favors.
do is if you get an external drive, you can put all your PS4 games on the external drive, but PS5 games can only be installed to a solid state drive. So
Okay.
it has to be the internal or an approved solid state drive.
Gotcha. Good to know. All right. Corbs, you playing anything? You still collecting spoons?
Yeah, I've been using my spoons lately, so
You need new spoons.
I gotta find another game to play to get my spoons. I got back into playing MLB The Show 2021.
Nice.
So I finally finished up my first season, and I'm like halfway through season 2. I'm in AAA right now, so trying to get to the major leagues. But the new game comes out I think 3 weeks. They had to wait. I was talking to my dad about it yesterday. They had to wait for the lockout to end.
Oh, no shit. Even
Before
for
they
the
could-
video game.
For the video game, because they didn't know, they had nobody signed.
Oh,
All these
that's
guys
true
were
too.
signing, but they weren't official until the lockout was resolved. And once that got resolved, all these guys started moving teams and whatnot. So they finally got guys where they're supposed to be and whatnot. So the game's coming out the 22nd, I think. So
Nice.
the week after my birthday. So
Oh, hint.
yeah, well, I'm already getting it for my birthday. So
Nice.
my dad buys it for me every year. That's my birthday gift every year is the MLB The Show. So
That's the way to do it.
it's simple, it's easy. I mean, I play it. It's just something. It's a game that I get every single year. I play it every single year it comes out. I think I started when it was triple play back in
wow.
like 94 is when it first came out. I've been playing it since then. Every year I get it. Every single year I get a copy of it. My dad buys it for me for my birthday, and I play it from until the new one comes out, and then I take it and trade it in and use it to buy something for my son, a gift card or whatever. So I mean, obviously when you trade it in, you get like $2 for it. I mean, still
Right.
a version of it or whatever. But still, I mean, it's but just that's it. Just been playing that and
Awesome.
I've been collecting spoons.
Jack, you doing any gaming?
Yeah, actually, just recently, when I was growing up, the GameCube was the big system. So recently, my friend and I, he is a techie. We jailbroke GameCube. I have the whole library now.
Wow.
And I took the orange LED light out and I put a green LED light bulb in it, 4 controllers. And I am proud to say, have you guys ever played the GameCube?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've still got mine.
Do you remember, what was it? Eternal Darkness?
Oh yeah.
I don't know that one.
I finally beat this game. I was so happy. I was
That
like,
was hard.
yeah, it was really hard. Tell me if I'm saying this right, Hugh. It's a girl named Alex. Her grandfather dies, and she has to go through like the diaries and all that stuff and try to figure out how he died and all that. But it's kind of like Resident Evil meets, I don't know, it's a crime.
Yeah, I remember, and this is going way back, but I seem to recall that even at the very beginning of the game, it was very confusing as to what you were supposed to do. And I never got very far in it at all because I just couldn't figure out what the game wanted from me. I seem to remember like hallways and just kind of like walking around and getting killed and not really knowing what the fuck was going on.
Nobody knew what was going on too, because like you have your life, you have your potion meter, and you have your sanity meter. So there's 3 different meters. So it's a mind fuck. Like you're literally walking in the hallway. The game will say, "Oh, the game's frozen. Please take it out." No, the game's just fucking with you. So it is
Really?
It just and literally you're walking down the hallway, your limbs fall off. You're like, "Oh no, you're just Sandy's just messing with you." And this is not a good game to play when you've had like 5 beers and you're a lonely dude living in your own house playing in the basement and you're like freaking out. I think I'm tripping.
Wow.
So, but no, I finally beat that. But I have 500 games on this GameCube, 4 controllers, and you guys gotta try this out. I'll have to show you guys sometime.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could jailbreak
That's neat.
GameCubes and shit.
But piggyback on Corbs, what he said, Triple Play 2001, Mike Piazza on the cover. That was one of my favorite games.
Yep.
But that's what I played.
Nice. All right. Well, it sounds to me like it's time for Kev's tabletop review.
You're fucking with me again.
What the hell is going on? Everybody just like.
I'm expecting the freaking the
recording to stop.
This is great though. This is better. This is better.
Son of a bitch.
Warts and all.
How much time we got? Because this is gonna go a little longer than normal.
I would say we got at least 10, 15 minutes.
All right. Well, let's see if I can do it. We might have to come back. So
He just ripped that curtain right aside. It's just
well, I mean, that's you got to tell people why I'm just sitting here looking like a freaking idiot. Never mind. Don't
Stop
do that.
distracting him, Paul. He
Don't
won't
do
finish
that.
it in time.
Don't do that. All right. So I went looking for a game that was kind of themed after a show I watched today. Disney Plus dropped, and if you don't know when we're recording the show, it's actually a Wednesday evening. It is March 30th.
tearing that curtain down.
Yep, just tearing it down. It's important though. This is important. I watched the newest Disney Plus Marvel show called Moon Knight. So
that came out already?
I went to try to find a game based on Moon Knight. All I could find on Board Game Geek, let me just see if I can pull this up. Hold on a second. So on Board Game Geek, I found this Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures game. So the game is set up so that you have these different scenarios. You have these maps and all these different features that you can use as weapons or as cushions if you get thrown around. And it's all of the latest. This game came out in 2019. So it's all your latest Marvel characters that you're used to from the movies. Okay, so you take your comic book knowledge and kind of put it in your back pocket and take your movie knowledge and bring it out. And that's what this game is all about. So the basic game comes with 10 plastic character miniatures. And some of those are Black Widow, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and a few others. 10 bases of varied sizes from 30 millimeters to 50 millimeters, 9 pieces of terrain, dice, and some other things. So you set the game up and you play against each other. The really cool thing about this is these miniatures are not painted. So part of the game is for you to get together with your friends and to paint your miniatures. The other part of the game are the expansion sets. And man, is there a lot of them. The one I happened to find was the Blade and Moon Knight expansion. So Blade, you remember Blade, played by what Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, he did the original. I think somebody else came back and played him later on.
There was a TV series. Yes, there was a TV series. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, and that was a different actor, right?
Yes, he was a rapper.
Okay. So Blade and Moon Knight are in this kit, and they're part of that Marvel Crisis Protocol. So these are more characters, and they're really nice looking characters. I mean, they're showing them painted, and somebody did a really nice job painting these characters. And don't forget, in a previous show, we linked to a YouTube video how-tos on how to paint these characters, how to get started, what kind of paints to use, what kind of brushes to use, how to do it, and not feel as though you're really going to mess it up. It's a really nice tutorial. So this is where it's going to get a little bit long. That's the game. I urge you to check it out on BoardGameGeek.com. I think it's really neat. I love the miniatures, especially when they come in a game set. Expansion sets are fun too. I read the description for this, and I read the following. Mark Spector's Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu. On an archaeological expedition in Egypt, Spector uncovered a temple of the ancient moon god Khonshu. Betrayed and left for dead, the god gave Spector a second chance at life as Moon Knight, a supernatural crime fighter with powers tied into the cycles of the moon. This is why I didn't know who Moon Knight was, because Paul has never done that kind of job describing him to me. In 1984, I met Moon Knight when I bought issue number 1 of series number 2 of the comic books.
The Fist of Khonshu.
The Fist of Khonshu. That's how I know Moon Knight. I know there was a first series. I know that was the one you were looking for that day at that Comic-Con in where'd we go?
Saratoga.
You said this is the one, it's worth so much money, it's part of this other series. You never talked about volume 2. When I read this and I read Fist of Khonshu, it triggered a memory, and I'm like, I know Fist of Khonshu. I had those comic books. So then I go and look it up, and I'm looking at a picture right now of the cover of volume 1, came out in June, for Fist of Khonshu, Moon Knight, and it's him in his white costume with the Egyptian symbol on the front of his uniform. The outfit looks nothing like what they're using in the story on Disney Plus, and he's got this special weapon, because when this is the second part of the Mark Spector story, where he's basically resurrected and brought back, with the promise of not only a better costume, but better weapons, more enchanted weapons that he gets to use to fight, do the whole crime fighting battle. Paul, I never in all of the, and obviously I was younger then. I mean, 1985, I was 16 years old. Didn't really pay much attention to what was going on. Like you said, the comics really hadn't broached a lot of what Moon Knight is now, what the story is now, the whole multiple personalities or whatever, the whole psychological aspect of what Moon Knight is. Back then it was just a guy that got bestowed with some ancient Egyptian deities powers to help him do right in the world and slay his enemies that are walking the planet. That's the Moon Knight I know, and now I'm sharing this with you, and I have now a deeper and more understood connection of exactly who Moon Knight is. Earlier, when I watched the show, I immediately got on text message with Paul. I'm like, what is this? Who is this? Why is he like this? Is it an entity that's inhabiting a human form? I didn't understand it, because I was understanding it from the way Paul had explained it to me, which was different from what I knew. And not that I knew all that much, and I honestly don't remember. But that comic book cover, and I'll send you the link, Paul. I didn't put it in the notes on purpose because I wanted it to be kind of a surprise. I remember that. I remember picking that up. It was Crandall's Corner Pharmacy here in Mexico, New York, where I bought my comic books. I remember seeing that on the stand, and I picked it up thinking, oh, this looks pretty cool. I know I had all 6 episodes, all 6 issues, because I recognized every cover, and I know I read them, and I also know it wasn't quite my thing, not at the time. I was a Spider-Man junkie. Didn't really even care for Batman that much. It was fun, it was great because it was the first hero I ever knew. And Superman, yeah, everybody liked Superman. So, I was that, the poor kid that happens to get, some superpowers. That's how I fit into the whole comic book world. But I remember it, and now comes the bad news. When we cleaned out the house that my mother was in before she moved into her trailer, everything that was in the house went. We had a huge garage sale, yard sale. Monster comic books, they're all stored in the attic. And I told them, I said, you do one price for the whole thing, you take the whole thing out. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want a partial. I don't want that, emotional, tie to a partial collection of what I had. All gone.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have all those issues in storage. I have damn near every Moon Knight issue, except
so you have
that whole run.
One,
yes,
the very first one of the very first series.
No, that is the one that I do not have. I do not have Werewolf by Night number 32.
Werewolf by Night. Yeah, that's right. That's in here. This website I found, mycomicshop.com. They've got a lot of good information about what the books are. And
they have a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah. So the series I'm talking about.
I do.
And, yep. And I just wish, had you ever said the words Fist of Khonshu, it would have triggered a memory. I know it would have.
That's funny because when we were doing the Moon Knight show, that's what it was called.
And I believe that you actually uttered those words last week or a week before when we said we'd be talking about Moon Knight. And you said, like, hey, more Fist of Khonshu.
Oh, you're right.
Might have.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't catch it.
That might have been later in the show. A few drinks later.
I hated doing that show.
Oh. Well, I mean, even Mark Spector didn't want to be freaking Moon Knight. So there you go.
Well, we will definitely touch more on Moon Knight later in the show. Mm-hmm. That's for damn sure. But yes, this Marvel Crisis Protocol, I've seen this in some of the hobby shops. Looks awesome. It looks way more involved than I'd be willing to get into, though, because I definitely couldn't paint.
It's a lot to it, and using the plain characters wouldn't be any fun.
No.
And I feel like, I understand your love for those, but when it comes to those games that have unpainted miniatures, I'm like, it's like if I bought a car and they're like, yeah, it's a bonus, you can paint it whatever color you want. I don't want to buy something that's not finished. That just bothers me.
Right.
They're not for everybody, right? It's honestly for somebody that's what they want to do. I mean, look at the Moon Knight character. It comes ready to use.
Right. It's already white. You're all set. All right, guys. Why don't we throw it to break and we'll come back and continue the show. Stay tuned for some very special ads. Stick with us, guys.
Cosmic Book News! The worst right-wing comic book website out there, with a slick layout that screams 2006 GeoCities free web template. Cosmic Book News offers the best genre news and updates that you found everywhere else 3 days ago. Cosmic Book News! Led by, okay, who are we kidding? Ran solely out of his mom's basement by legendary incel Matt McGloin, the whiny neckbeard who has never had an original thought or fresh insight in his pitiful existence. Be sure to visit Cosmic Book News! If you like your week-old breaking news served with a healthy dose of Trump-sucking, QAnon-spouting insanity. Cosmic Book News! When only the worst in comics reporting will do. Do you like comic books and pop culture collectibles but hate a bargain? Do you have a collection to sell but you're afraid you might actually get a fair deal? Are you looking to have someone steal your inventory to sell it in a shady backdoor deal and pocket the money for himself? Do you feel like you haven't been physically assaulted in the middle of a busy shopping mall? Do you want to give your hard-earned money to a store owner that lies, cheats, steals, and batters women and animals? Well, look no further than Larger Than Life. We're waiting to abuse you.
Are you tired of creators who can't resolve a story? Ones that come up with great openings and visuals and promise the world with no clear idea how to wrap up their story in a way that makes sense. 800 tie-in stories that promise to reveal everything that never do. They promise a dog that licks turds and deliver a turd that licks dogs. Then we invite you to join the Grant Morrison Depreciation Society. For just $19.95, your enrollment package includes a number of free gifts, including a Why Does Grant Morrison Spend So Much Time Thinking About Batman Being Gay enamel pin, a copy of Death Metal signed by the janitor of the local waste management office to burn at our annual Grant Us No Morrison celebration, a roll of our limited edition Batman R.I.P. toilet paper. You know what to do. Our limited run, not relevant since Arkham Asylum t-shirt, and a Not So Final Crisis bumper sticker. Come join us in reviling the Zack Snyder of comic books, except Snyder doesn't pretend to be Martin Scorsese and deliver Pauly Shore. Welcome to the Grant Morrison Depreciation Society, hating Grant Morrison since Spider-Man and Zoids 1986.
Now, before I slap Kevin in the face and tell him to keep my snake's not name out of his mouth, here's the news. Brought to you by the Grant Morrison Depreciation Society. First up, we are all spin-offs down here. HBO Max, the apparent place for spin-off TV shows, has added a Stephen King classic alongside the Batman and Dune spin-offs. Andy Muschietti, director of It Parts 1 and 2, will be producing Welcome to Derry. This prequel will cover the events from the 1960s up to It Part 1. While it might be nice to see more of the town and an origin for Pennywise, I think I would have liked to see them go a bit further back. Based on the original timeline, this only gives them time for a single 27-year cycle. I feel like it might have been more interesting to go further back and then move forward, unless each season jumps back another 27 years, or whatever. With the original team on board, I can't imagine it would be bad, unless they recast Pennywise with like Stephen Carell or Carrot Top. You know, kind of like that time Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Next up, Jim Ryan is a big bag of dicks. Sony announced changes to the PlayStation Plus and PS Now services coming this June. If you only use PS Plus, then not much is going to change. If you are a PS Now user, things are about to get dicey and pricey. They are rolling them all into a single service with tiered pricing. So a PS Plus user will still be paying $56.99 a year. However, if you were only using PS Now for its game streaming and downloadable library, your $59.99 per year is being replaced with the second tier of service at $99.99 yearly. This is a huge jump for folks not already subscribing to both services. While it's cheaper than its direct competitor, Xbox Game Pass, the service is severely lacking when they are stacked against each other. Sony president Jim Ryan seems to think the best way to compete is to piss off your customers by potentially selling them a service they don't want with fewer features than the competition. Kind of like that time Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. And finally, the end of an uneven road. Today, March 30th, 2022, marks the final day of filming on AMC's The Walking Dead. While writing that, I typed dad 3 times in a row and slapped myself in the face to break the cycle. For 12 years, the former TV juggernaut thrilled, chilled, and often let fans down around the world. When a show gets this old, it's inevitable that some seasons will be better than others. This final season has been running on all cylinders and looks to be a great end to the show. As we prepare to live in a post-TWD world, I'm reminded of all the award-winning moments like Abraham's dolphin-smooth skin, completely destroying Andrea's character, then killing her off. Making Rick so unlikable, I wanted him to go until fixing the problem and then getting rid of him anyway. Killing Carl and completely fucking the end of the comic. And who can forget the most iconic moments like chocolate pudding and stay in the house, Carl? Actually, second thought, I'm glad they're ending it before they reveal the zombies came from aliens or flu shots or Kevin misnaming my snake repeatedly. Like that time Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. And that's the news, kids. Now, I need to get back to planning my Wrestlemania party. And by party, I mean watching it the next day on Peacock. I am too damn old to stay up that late unless I'm getting laid. I do it for New Year's, and it takes me until Easter to recover. Feels like The Walking Dead isn't really over. All right. That was an awful attempt at a joke. I feel like the Ukraine-Russia conflict has killed the news cycle. There's no good material to work with lately. I've not been happy with my last few news segments. They're light on jokes and heavy on news, which was never really the point. Everyone is behaving. QAnon is shutting their damn fool mouths. Alec Baldwin stopped shooting people. We can't even make fun of Kanye, as his behavior is legit kind of scary. And picking on Bruce Willis retiring due to being diagnosed with aphasia seems cruel, although not as cruel as the last 5 years of his movies. It's like right now in the world, there's nothing to make fun of, nothing we can all pick on, except maybe Jada Pinkett Smith's lack of hair. Paul?
Wow.
In other news, George Washington grew marijuana in his garden. Back to you. Wait, who the fuck are you? Why are you doing my movie reviews? Corbs?
You want to do this one? Go ahead. I don't fucking care. I want to go back in time, visit with George.
This one's all you, man.
So, all right. Well, let's see if you guys can just figure out what movie this might be.
Well, you already said go back in time and talk to George, so I think I know what it is.
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, all right.
Maybe. I don't know. All right. In the year 3000, humanity is no match for the Cyclos, a greedy, manipulative race on the quest for an ultimate profit. Led by a seductive, powerful Tyrell, the Cyclos are stripping Earth of its resources. It's been a lifetime of hardship and enslavement for humans. What is left of the human race is reverted to a primitive state, believing the intruders to be demons and technology to be evil. After humanity has all but given up any hope of freeing themselves from their alien oppression, a young man named Terrell, whatever, decided to leave his desolate home high in the Rocky Mountains to discover the truth, whereupon he is captured and enslaved. But now a resistance is brewing, and the aliens are about to face the reckoning of a lifetime. The ultimate fight for survival is about to begin, and it is then that he decides to fight back, leading his fellow man in one final struggle for freedom. Anybody got a guess on what movie I just did?
Well, that sure as fuck isn't Back to the Future.
Besides Paul, he knows.
Yeah, I can't guess. I know.
I'll give you some
2000.
This is so classic, I've never even seen it.
Probably not. Not many people have.
I saw this movie a long time ago.
Kev knows what it is.
Well, I've seen the notes, so I saw it before.
All
Not
right,
the one with Sean Connery in the weird red bikini, is it?
Ew, that's like every James Bond movie.
No, this
Slowly
is worse.
walking out of the surf.
With the chest hair.
Yeah, oh yeah, but no, I'm talking like a woman's bikini. It's like a V thing, comes down to the shoulders and covers his crotch. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like
Zappa-
Zardos or something like that
Yeah.
from like the 70s, early 70s.
Was this the last movie Travolta did before he kind of disappeared for a long time?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
And rightly so. He deserved it for this.
Yeah, he should have left before this.
Yeah.
So it's Battlefield Earth. Okay, it stars John Travolta, Barry Pepper, Forrest Whitaker,
Yep.
Jim Coates from Sons is in it, and John's wife Kelly Preston is in it. It is considered one of, if not the worst movie ever made.
Huh.
Again, for good reason.
For good reasons. I watched it, and when I got done, I thought to myself, that's 2 hours I want to have back. It wasn't good. It was bad. Battlefield Earth swept the 2000 Golden Raspberry Awards.
The Razzies.
Razzies. It received 7 Razzies, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor for Travolta, Worst Supporting Actor for Pepper, Worst Supporting Actress, Kelly Preston, Worst Director, Kristen.
I thought it was Schumacher for a minute.
Worst Screenplay, whoever the Mandel and Shapiro. Worst Screen Couple, Travolta and anyone he shared the screen with him. It is tied for the highest number of Razzies won by a single film at that time, with Showgirls achieving 7 wins in 1995.
Also fair.
Battlefield Earth later won an 8th for being the worst drama in our first 25 years. So it now is 8, and I believe it actually won a 9th because it won another one. I was reading that it won another one for like the worst movie
Of all time.
or something like that. Yeah, so it's won a total of 9 Razzies now.
Wow.
That's
Again,
bad.
well deserved.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, you know, it's also based on L. Ron Hubbard's novels, Battlefield Earth. There was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them. I tried reading them when I was a kid. Before he, you know, went crazy and created a religion, he was just a science fiction writer. And I never even got past the first book. It was fucking awful. So they decided to take a fucking awful book and make a fucking awful movie about it, apparently.
And they succeeded.
Can we just admit, though, honestly, though, I know you said that movie, that is an awful movie. I'll admit I've seen it. But Showgirls, like if you're alone, it's NC-17. You look who's around. Okay, nobody's around. You get the bag of chips. You're like, fuck it. I'm going to watch this for 2 hours. I see Jesse Spano naked. So I know it's a painful movie, but you're going to watch it.
It has its good parts. Yeah, its merits. It has its merits.
That was the draw to get people into the theater when it came out, was Jesse Spano naked.
Yep. Yeah. That was supposed to be the movie that was supposed to make her not Jesse Spano anymore. And
it worked because it erased her from the popular culture, like lexicon, because awful.
Yeah, we still talk about the movie.
We're talking about it again. Yes.
Because like we've all seen Saved by the Bell, and you've all seen like when Zach and Kelly get married in Vegas, right? Jesse Spano shows up. You never seen that? Okay.
Well,
I didn't follow for that long, man.
No, because you see Jesse Spano arrive late. She was actually filming Showgirls at that time too. That's why she wasn't in it.
Nice. So are you saying Showgirls is a direct sequel to Saved by the Bell? It was actually really Jesse going off to Vegas?
Basically, yeah. She didn't go to Columbia or wherever she was going to go. She went to go be a stripper.
Columbia. Yeah.
Isn't it? No, it was like Stratford or some shit. Supposedly it was a takeoff on Stanford or some shit.
Gotcha.
Right. Something stupid like that. I don't fucking remember. I used to watch the show. Don't get me wrong. I used to watch the show.
Kelly Kapowski's gorgeous.
I've never seen it.
You're not missing much, Hugh.
No.
Hey, that was that was a cable show, right? Was it Nickelodeon or something?
No,
TBS or something, I think.
It was NBC.
Was it
NBC?
Yeah, it was a Saturday morning. It was a Saturday morning show.
Oh, that's true, because the new spin-off, remake, whatever it is boring me to death. Clearly, is on Peacock.
I don't know.
But they did Saved by the Bell, College Years.
The new class.
They had a new class.
Because Screech was a teacher or something. Yeah.
He was the vice principal. Yeah.
Yep. But they did another one that had Ryan Hurst was in it.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah. That was in between the College Years and the new class that had Screech as the vice president. And now they're doing another.
Yeah, there's the current one where
Well, the one Corbs, the one right before the whole thing is Good Morning, Miss Bliss. That was actually based off in Indiana. And then they brought them all to California.
Yep. I do remember that too. Yep.
Wow.
All right. Let's get back on track though. Corbs, what do you give Battlefield Earth?
-5.
5 Razzies?
-5.
Okay. -5.
Wow.
All right.
I wouldn't watch this movie if my life depended on it.
You would just
I would take the bullet.
Sweet oblivion.
I would take the bullet.
I'll write that down for when we decide to become sauce-inspired killers.
Corbs, is it just like the script that just follows the acting, or is it just all of it? It's just bad.
It's bad. It's just the acting is bad. The grunting is bad. The fact that they can't talk, they can't do anything, but they can learn how to fly a plane.
That says it all right there.
I mean, you're talking about you're not talking like years. You're talking like hundreds of years that these planes have been sitting there. I mean, what? These guys just jump in and like, oh yeah, this is easy to do.
Because Barry Pepper, a lot of people don't know who he is. Of course we do, but like from 61 to Green Mile to 25th Hour, all that stuff. But you think he's a good actor, but it's like, no, this one he just falls.
Yeah, that one. I'm sure that one is not on a lot. I mean, Travolta's got a few clunkers. There's another one that he did that I haven't seen yet, and I don't really want to see it. But it's called Gotti. He plays John Gotti. I've heard that one is right on par with Battlefield Earth.
Wow.
It's like that.
Yeah.
I've liked some movies that Travolta was in. I can't think of one movie I've liked because he was in it.
Yeah, I've liked movies that he's in too. I mean, Saturday Night Live, good movie. But
Saturday Night Fever.
Whatever. No.
It's Saturday Night Fever.
The first one. Staying Alive or Saturday
Staying
Fever.
Alive.
Staying Alive is the second one. That one's a bad movie. But
I've never seen it.
Pulp Fiction, again, it's a good movie. He's in it, but it's a good movie.
It's a good movie, yeah.
You're right. There's not a lot of movies that he's in that you watch it because he's in it. Like I watched Swordfish a couple of times. He's in it. He's okay in it.
But
I didn't even know he was in that.
You watch it because of Halle Berry. You don't watch it because of anybody else.
True.
What about Get Shorty?
I've never seen that. You know that?
Me either.
The one that's actually pretty good. Actually, you're like you said, you don't watch it because of John Travolta, but I stumbled upon it, which was really good. William Hurt, R.I.P. It's sad he's dead, but is Michael, where he's the angel. That was actually decent.
That is a Travolta heavy movie. Yes.
And the other one I like that he was in was Phenomenon. Phenomenon is a pretty good movie too, and it's Travolta heavy. But but you're right, Kev. You're right. There's not a lot of movies that he is the standalone. Yeah. You're watching it because he's acting in it.
Yeah.
So
even
the Punisher,
he's a bad actor necessarily.
Right.
I liked seeing him die in The Punisher. Really, the way he died was fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And really, I mean, if there's any reason to watch The Punisher, it's because Kevin Nash is in it. I love Kevin Nash's part in that movie.
Russian.
Yes.
Help me out.
He was the enforcer, the Russian big blonde dude that was throwing the Punisher through the walls and
red
and white striped t-shirt.
The fact that he didn't like tear a quad filming that, it just blows my mind.
But let's bring it back to Battlefield Earth and our good friend Roger Ebert.
Yay, Roger!
You gave it a -5, Corbs. What do you think the Ebes gave it?
He gave it a 5. He loved it.
Oh,
no.
God.
Half a star, maybe? Half?
You called it. 1/2 star. And he says this. Battlefield Earth is like taking a bus trip with someone who has needed a bath for a long time. It's not merely bad, it's unpleasant in a hostile way. The visuals are grubby and drab. The characters are unkempt and have rotten teeth. Breathing tubes hang from their noses like ropes of snot. The soundtrack sounds like the boom mic is being slammed against the inside of a 55-gallon drum. The plot? But let me catch my breath. This movie is awful in so many different ways. Even the opening titles are cheesy. Sci-fi epics usually begin with a stab at impressive titles, but this one just displays green letters on the screen in a type font that came with my Macintosh. Then the movie's subtitle unscrolls from left to right in the kind of effect you see in home movies, or the editing of GeekPod. It is the year 3000. The race of Cyclos has conquered the earth. Humans survive in scattered bands, living like actors auditioning for the sequel to Quest for Fire. Soon they leave the wilderness and prowl through the ruins of theme parks in the city of Denver. The ruins have held up well after 1,000 years. Library books are dusty but readable, and a flight simulator still works, although where it gets the electricity is a mystery. The hero, named Johnny Goodboy, Tyler, is played by Barry Pepper as a smart human who gets smarter thanks to a cyclo-gizmo that zaps his eyeballs with knowledge. He learns Euclidean geometry and how to fly a jet and proves to be a quick learner for a caveman. The villains are two cyclos named Turl, played by John Travolta, and Kerr, played by Forrest Whitaker. Turl is head of security for the cyclos and has a secret scheme to use the humans as slaves to mine gold for him. He can't be reported to his superiors because, and I am not making this up, he can blackmail his enemies with secret recordings that, in the event of his death, would go straight to the Home Office.
That sounds an awful lot like Scientology, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I'm just saying.
Letterman fans laugh at that line. Did the filmmakers know it was funny? Johnny Goodboy figures out a way to avoid slave labor in the gold mines. He and his men simply go to Fort Knox, break in, and steal gold. Of course, it's been waiting there for 1,000 years. What Turl says when his slaves hand him smelted bars of gold is beyond explanation. For stunning displays of stupidity, Turl takes the cake. As chief of security for the conquering aliens, he doesn't even know what humans eat and devises an experiment. Let it think it has escaped. We can sit back and watch it choose its food. Bad luck for the starving humans that they capture a rat. An experiment like that, you pray for chicken. Hiring Travolta and Whitaker was a waste of money, since we can't recognize them behind pounds of matted hair and gnarly makeup. Their costumes look like they were purchased from the Goodwill store on the planet Tatooine. Travolta can be charming, funny, touching, and brave in his best roles. Why disguise him as a smelly alien creep? Love this one. The Cyclos can fly between galaxies, but look at their nails. Their civilization has mastered the hyperdrive, but not the manicure. I am not against unclean characters on principle, at least now that the threat of smell-o-vision no longer hangs over our heads. Lots of great movies have squalid heroes, but when the characters seem noxious on principle, we wonder if the art and costume departments were allowed to run wild. Battlefield Earth was written in 1980 by L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. The film contains no evidence of Scientology or any other system of thought. It is shapeless and senseless without a compelling plot or characters we care for in the slightest. The director, Roger Christian, has learned from better films that directors sometimes tilt their cameras, but he has not learned why. Some movies run off the rails. This one is like the train crash in The Fugitive. I watched it in mounting gloom, realizing I was witnessing something historic, a film that for decades to come will be the punchline of jokes about bad movies. Yep. There is a moment here when the Cyclos' entire planet, Home Office and all, is blown to smithereens without the slightest impact on any member of the audience, or, for that matter, the cast. If the film had been destroyed in a similar cataclysm, there might have been a standing ovation.
His best review ever.
Yes.
Yep.
Hands down.
And you know what? He's right. 100% right.
What was it? IMDb always has like different ratings. Can you guys guess what Metascore this movie has out of 100?
0.
Everyone just take one guess.
It's
Zero.
low. It's low.
1 or 2.
9.
Wow. That's higher than I thought.
But it's got like a 2.5 review, but still it's bad, really bad.
2.5 stars out of 10.
So
Yes.
I'm guessing that Travolta joined Scientology and his space Jesus daddy, L. Ron Hubbard, said, make a movie of my first book. And this is what happened.
I know this was a passion project for Travolta. Like, he was the driving force behind this. So you're probably not far off.
Must have drove it right into a bridge embankment.
That's
Yes,
why
he
he
did.
went underground, because he realized he shouldn't be doing that shit.
No, you're right, Paul. I think he sunk in like 20 or he put millions into this movie so it could finish.
It's awful. It shouldn't have. He should have kept his money, and he should have just urinated on it and then lit it on fire.
Yeah.
Well,
But not better.
he bought some planes, so he basically did the same thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on this, or should we throw it to commercial and wrap this show up? Dumpster fire it is. All right. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back.
Dumpster fire.
We'll be right back.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest is coming with an all-new location, new guests, and all the same fun, charm, and camaraderie that you've come to know and love. Sci-Fi Horror Fest has a new home for 2022 at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 26th and 27th. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is a family-friendly event featuring fun activities, vendors, and a media area with an eclectic group of podcast personalities. Exciting celebrity guest appearances will be announced soon. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is currently looking for volunteers. This is your chance to be a part of the fun. Please note, details of the event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
All right, everybody. Corbs, what are you watching?
All right, so I had a free preview of HBO when I was sick, so it worked out pretty good. So I was able to kind of watch a few things. I noticed something on, like, it was being advertised on Stars called Winning Time, The Rise of the Laker Dynasty. So I was like, okay, I want to watch this because my brother, when we were playing basketball, so my dad was a Boston Celtics fan, loved Larry Bird. I was a Chicago Bulls fan that loved Michael Jordan. My brother was a Lakers fan. He loved Magic Johnson. So when I saw this coming out, I wanted to see what it was all about. And it's about Jerry Buss, the guy who bought the Lakers in 1978, I believe, 77 or 78. You know, he bought it when the league was on its way down. Like, they were about ready to file bankruptcy. It shows how he bought the Lakers, overpaid for them, was basically running on very little money to no money at all, but he was faking it really well. It's only about 4 episodes in, but it goes how they drafted Magic Johnson. Against everybody's wishes, he drafted Magic Johnson to be the team leader and stuff like that. Obviously, they had Kareem at the time. But it's a great show. It's got John C. Reilly. He plays Jerry Buss. It's got Jason Clarke. He's in it. Terminator. Is it Dark Fate? No. Whatever the one was before that. He was in Terminator. He was one of the Terminators in that. He plays Jerry West. It's got Adrian Brody.
Okay.
He plays Pat Riley. There's somebody else in it too.
Isn't Will Ferrell in it as well?
No, not at least as of right now.
Okay.
Who's the other person? Oh, it's got where is it? Michael Chiklis. He's Red Auerbach.
Nice.
It's got Roy Cochran from Syracuse, New York. He plays Jerry Tarkanian. Jason Segel, that's the other person I was thinking. He's in it. He plays Paul Westhead, who ends up being the coach of the Lakers for a year. Mike Epps is in it. So it's got a lot of big actors in it and stuff. It's very good. I've been watching it on Hulu.
Nice.
because it's not on HBO Max, it's on actual HBO. So I can't watch anything off of HBO Max. So I still haven't seen Peacemaker, which I do want to see. I'm hoping at some point it comes to regular HBO and I can watch it on Hulu. Hopefully, but if it doesn't, then I'll figure out some other way to watch it or whatnot. But it's a great show. It's an episodic show. Every week they give you another episode. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's a great show. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a sports fan in general, you'd like it. You'd like it more if you're a basketball fan and if you know the basketball at that time.
Right, the history of it.
Yeah, so it's a great show. I look forward to watching it. Matter of fact, it's on Sunday nights at 9:00.
Uh-oh.
But it doesn't come on Hulu till the next day.
Oh, okay.
But the first weekend I got to watch it, at first I didn't realize that it coincided with The Walking Dead. So I was watching that on the free preview for HBO. And I went, oh shit, I forgot. So I watched The Walking Dead the next day, but it's on that night. So I have to watch it the next day or the day after. I usually watch it Monday or Tuesday on Hulu. It's only about an hour long.
Nice.
They're actually an hour long episodes. They do have some stuff after about, the making of the episode and stuff like that, and how they went about finding the guy to play Magic Johnson, because obviously Magic Johnson's not playing himself in it, obviously because he's obviously younger at the time and whatnot. But it's a great show. I'm actually kind of happy that I'm able to watch it. So if you guys like basketball and you want to take a look at it, it's definitely worth the watch. So
nice.
Cool.
So, and I've watched other stuff too. I mean, I watched the TV show on Netflix called Wu Assassins. I think I talked about it last summer. They did a movie.
That.
What's that, Kev?
I watched that.
Did you?
Yep.
I liked it. It was a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good TV show. They did a movie called Fistful of Vengeance or something like that. Same guy that was in the Wu Assassins. It's the same characters on Netflix. I watched that. That was very good too. I was kind of impressed with that. So I'm hoping they come out with a second season of Wu Assassins, but I don't think so. I like the guy who plays the Wu Assassin in it. He was in other two other movies that I watched. That's The Raid and Raid 2. They're like Korean or Chinese movies. But they're very action oriented.
Mm-hmm.
These two movies, very, very action, very violent movies and stuff like that. I watched The Raid. The first time I watched that, I was like, holy crap, this movie was fantastic. I watched it. It's and then they came up with the second one, and I watched that one, and it was just as good. So anything that this guy is in, I think he's Indian, but he was actually in. I think funny thing about it, he was actually in The Force Awakens as one of the pirates. His name is, and I will screw up his name pronouncing it. Give me a second.
I know he shows up on Han's ship wanting his money. Yes,
correct. It's Iko Uwasu's IKO. That's his first name, and his last name is UWAIS. He's the main character in the movies, The Raid, and he's the main character in the Wu Assassins plus the movie. So, but he's fantastic. I'm hoping that at some point they come out with a third Raid, because they were talking about it, and it might be something that's done a couple of years later. But
right.
But yeah, I watched that. I kind of looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks like, because I've been looking for movies to watch, so I had stuff to talk about when we did these things and whatnot. So I saw this one day. I was kind of looking for something to watch, and I saw this, and I was going to watch Army of the Dead, but I saw this. Well, I know it's good, and I was actually going to watch the one before it. They did it. Netflix has got
a prequel,
yeah, a prequel to it. So I was going to watch the prequel, and then watch the Army of the Dead. But then I saw this, and I was like, oh well, which one do I watch? I was like, I'll watch this one. I like the actor that's in it. I'll watch this one. So I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually a pretty good movie. So
you don't have to watch the prequel. I mean,
right?
They do a good job of making it work.
They're two completely different movies too.
Yeah.
One's a heist movie, the other's a zombie horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're connected tenuously.
Yeah.
Technically a prequel, but watch them in any order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's all I got.
Nice.
Neat.
You?
Anybody else?
Servant wrapped up its third season this week. We just finished watching that. It's on Apple TV. Fantastic show. Brought it up before. Not going to go into detail, but it seems like M. Night Shyamalan's way better at producing television than he is directing movies. This show is fucking great. And the less you know about going into it, the better.
Gotcha. Very cool.
No, but yeah, like the show that I'm really geeking for is wrapping up. April 29th is the last of the show, and it's done. Is Ozark. So Ozark is. Oh, have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, I haven't
Oh,
seen it, but the guys have talked about it.
We may
Yeah.
start watching it. My wife's
Oh.
interested in it.
Spoiler free, but Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, the girl that plays Ruth. I don't know the
Yeah.
actress. Just the show, it just drives you like. But Jason Bateman's drive, like so much chaoticness. Like I'm gonna do the spoiler free for you, Hugh, because you have to watch this. It's just
That
like
is
so much
definitely
craziness.
spoiler-free.
Kevin, tell me if I'm go. No, but like Jason Bateman, like there's so many crazy things happen. I'm like, Hugh, it's okay. We're gonna get through this. It's just gonna be fine. But lots going on. It's okay. But like the way the actors just coincide with each other. Laura Linney, the guy's house that they buy from. He's this older guy. It's really cool. But it just meshes so well together. Like the show has been on for 6 years, but it's only had 4 seasons and only like 40 something episodes. But they're like 45 to an hour 25-minute episodes.
Nice.
Yep. No, it's really good.
But the dynamic
does
with
a fantastic job. Yep.
Yeah, the dynamic with Bateman and his family, Ruth and her family, just well done. Wrap it up. I'm watching it again because I'm trying to find little tidbits of that. So it's going very well. So it's going to wrap up very well. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
Now you know that the girl that plays Ruth was also the actress that just played Anna Delvey in Making Anna?
Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. Is that good?
She is fan freaking tastic in the movie. It's a mini series. It's really, really, really good. I didn't know anything about the story before watching it. So it was educational for me. It's really good. And she is fantastic.
See, she just does a great job with so many things. Like when you're going into the show, when you first see it, you're like, Jason Bateman, Netflix, it's going to be the draw because A-list actor. This girl was up and coming, and I want to get her actress name. If you guys know it, just cut me off.
I don't know.
But
Julie Gardner.
Julie Gardner. She's going to get so many roles now after this because she can carry a show. Like you watch it because of Jason Bateman, but now you're watching it because of her because it's just very, very well done.
Yep. That's
Nice.
fantastic. It's a good show. It's really, just when you think you know what's going to happen, it takes a turn. Yeah. My turn?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, there's The Walking Dead, of course. I'm deep in that. I'm so happy to have our original back. I'm continuing on with Longmire. We're in the second to the last season. I don't know. Again, I'll reiterate: if you're a Katie Sackhoff fan, this is worth it. She's a bit of an over actor in this, but it's kind of fun anyway. The show is really good. Walt Longmire he's an onion, and they just keep peeling him back, show by show, season by season, and it's getting pretty good. In this we're in the latter half of the penultimate season, so I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next season. The last season, and looking forward to what the more character development. And there's the cliffhanger we had last night was not the end of it wasn't the season finale, but we ended it on a show where something happens to one of the primary characters. So we don't know what though. Yeah, we have no idea. So it's really good. Good old fashioned. What I've said before is that it's if you've ever watched the Kevin Costner, the new Kevin Costner, Yellowstone. That's cowboys getting away with murder. This is in Wyoming. This is a cowboy cop figuring out those murders. That's the way I describe it. So it's really good. And then of course there's Moon Knight, and I'm going to let Paul carry this one, but I will just give you my impressions of Moon Knight. It is exactly the way Paul described it to me, and it is nothing like what I remember from the comic books. Take it away, Paul.
I would just like to address that, because what you remember was literally a 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
And they did away with the fact that he had moon powers right after that and took away all the fucking gold accents. Not that it was bad. I actually really liked Fist of Khonshu, but that's not my Moon Knight. Has everybody watched Moon Knight?
No. Oh, really? Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Good.
Okay. That's
because
fantastic.
I mean, for all the regulars at least, you had to know that this was going to be a discussion point.
Well, yeah, and this episode is really hard to spoil because not much really happened.
There's not a lot of traction that you can explain.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. I am going to, because I mean, this will literally be coming out. We're talking about the day the show dropped, and it's coming out 2 days later. So I'm going to edit it right now. I'm going to give you 4 beats before we go into spoilers, just so you have an opportunity to turn the show off right now. Ready? Here we go. Okay, so spoilers, here we go. Normally I wait to watch the Marvel Disney Plus stuff with the family. Fuck them kids. I was watching this by like 10:30 this morning. I on a break. I wasn't working at the time.
I was about to say, weren't you supposed to be working at 10:30?
I was on a break. I took an early lunch for it.
That's a long ass break.
49 minutes. Now I said one thing to Kevin when we started this back and forth, and it was 2 words, maybe one if you smush it together. Goosebumps. I was enthralled. It's common knowledge to all of us and all 4 of our listeners. Well, 3. Tate, you might not know. I am a huge Moon Knight fan. Not the snake, the other Tate.
Yeah, Tate the snake doesn't exist.
He does. He's so cute.
You did notice I even found a brown snake for the logo, right?
But Bruno the snake exists, though, right, Hugh?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. We talk about Tate.
We're going to talk about Moon Knight. More specifically, Stephen Grant. I love the fact that Stephen is literally just a chode. He's a poor, browbeaten bastard just trying to live his life, and he very clearly knows he has issues, which we find out really fast with the fact that he's anchoring himself to the bed and taping the door to prove to himself that he doesn't leave because as he tells you, like he just wakes up in random places, and at first we take him for his word on that, until we don't have to take his word for it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, like he wakes up in the middle of a field with a dislocated jaw. And that's really when all hell breaks loose. And I love the fact that he's all confused, and because he's such the good guy, Stephen Grant, he looks up and he sees the guy in the window and he just waves up at him. And then they pull out machine guns. This was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better start to this show, and I'm already disappointed that it's only 6 episodes long. I think we've got a lot of ground to cover in 5 episodes. And we've already met our big bad, played by Ethan Hawke, Arthur Harrow. And I don't remember him from the comics, but Kev, you actually had his first appearance. That was in Fist and Moon Knight #2.
Okay. Did you see the interview with Ethan Hawke?
No, I avoided everything about this.
So, what's his name there? God, the fuck's his name?
Khonshu?
Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac approached Ethan Hawke to play that character.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I did see in the credits, because I did watch all the way through the credits just in case. Again, spoilers, there's nothing in the after credits on this.
Good to know.
I did see that he is an executive producer on the show. So he's invested in this working out.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic job.
He was great. He was
it really
great.
is. If it's split personalities, if that's what he's got, or dissociative identity disorder, whatever it is, if that's what it is, he did a fantastic job. Not remembering the fact that he's Mark, whatever the fuck his last name is.
Spectre.
Granted,
in the show, we haven't been told that yet. We just know it's Mark.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And I like the fact that Khonshu is speaking to him as well. You guys picked up on that, right? That the disembodied voice is Khonshu.
In a decidedly modern tone.
Yes, he seems very modern, very not Egyptian godlike.
No,
voiced.
Was that the little peacock thingy that he keeps seeing?
Yes, that's Khonshu.
Well, I mean, if he's in the back of this guy's head, don't you think he would have picked up, modern English?
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge. He's like, yeah, I'm an old god, but I'm going to talk so you can understand me, not like, oh, Twain and V and shit. Whatever.
The only reason I even point that out is because, I mean, the backstory of this is that he's an Egyptian god, and that, and this is his fist, this is his avatar, this is his chosen one to wield his power. So I mean, he can pretty well be whatever he wants to be. I mean, he's obviously an alien, came to Earth and took over ancient Egypt, because that's what they did.
That's some Stargate shit, like right there. I love it.
Fuck yeah, Hoser.
I mean, why wasn't he Gus the goldfish speaking to him then?
We don't know who Gus is, but we know that there's now an imposter in his place.
Yes, and I think that's because Mark replaced him, because he had him in the Alps for days, and I'm sure the fish died. That's my theory on why Gus now has all of his fins. I love this fucking show already.
It's good. I do not think it's their strongest premiere ever for a Marvel show. I also think that if you're not already invested in it, or you're not going to watch it just because it's Marvel, then we might have a difficult time. Like Avery said, I don't really know what's going on, but it was funny, so that's okay. So she liked the humor there, but and I can get that. There, like I said, not a whole lot happened in this episode. I mean, really, this entire episode for the actual first episode.
To where we actually get to the action.
Yeah, it's not even action. This was all background. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's an interesting choice, given the high profile of the series. And I think that maybe the only reason they thought they could get away with it, because Ethan Hawke's character, I mean, he's really good, really creepy. Strong performances all around are what carry this episode, not the content. Because if you were to really look at it based on content, there's not much there.
Yeah.
See, I disagree. I think there's a lot packed into it.
There's not.
There has to be, because you have to get up to speed on it.
But there's not so much there that they couldn't have inserted that information in an episode that actually moved the plot forward.
I agree with Hugh, because I think for a Moon Knight fan, this is a fantastic first episode. For someone who barely knows anything about Moon Knight, the current existing Moon Knight, I think the show kind of drags a bit. For somebody who doesn't know anything about Moon Knight, they are going to be confused right up until probably episode 2 or 3.
They're like, does Poe Dameron have aphasia or something? What's going on?
Seriously.
And I'm going to put that to the test this weekend, because the rest of the family is going to get to watch it then. So I'm going to see, because now that I've already watched it, so I'm not going to be hyper focused on what's going on in the show, I can wait to see what their reactions are and everything like that. And I don't have to keep screaming at Kylie to shut up and just watch the show. But I am interested to see how they take to it, because this is coming from the same people who were ready to nope out of WandaVision immediately. And that was another one that
I was in that camp.
Slow burning. Yeah.
I was in that camp.
You were in that camp for Peacemaker too.
I still am. It got okay at the end. Okay. Not great.
Not what you said a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I
Corbs.
understood it. I understood it.
Corbs, you raised your hand a few minutes ago, and we all just like talked over you. What were you gonna
Sorry,
say?
Corbs.
No, I have no idea what Moon Knight is. No clue. I watched it and I went, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I get the part of the multiple personalities or the dissociative
Identity
disorder
disorder.
he's got going. I got that part of it, but I was like, who's talking to him? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I was confused until the end when his reflection started talking to him and he realized that was Mark. That was the guy that he was talking to, and he's like, "Let me take care of this. Let me deal with this. If you don't let me deal with this, we're gonna die." And then obviously when they showed him, he was in Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
But how did he end up in the middle of like the Alps from the middle of London? He obviously didn't teleport there.
Right. No.
And obviously it was a couple of days later because he was supposed to have dinner with that girl and it was Sunday. So obviously he traveled there. I guess
he lost 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was confused. Not that I'm not excited about the show itself. It was very confusing to kind of stay invested in it. Like, it was just a little bit. I think if you're watching it because it's a Marvel Phase 4 type of thing, and you're just in it for the Marvel, and you have no idea what's going on, I think you might be a little bit off-put by it. You'll probably stick with it because it is Marvel. I know my son wants.
And that's what they've trained us to do. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
My son and I both are gonna watch it on Wednesdays when he gets home from school. And I got to work and all that stuff. I won't take my 45-minute break at that time to watch it like Paul does. So it was just a little hard to follow for me to start. I was excited by the fact that it came out today. Actually, I had forgotten all about it until I was watching Winning Time. I showed a preview for it. And I was like, oh shit! That's Paul when I texted him. I'm like, did that come out today? And he's like, yeah, I already watched it. I'm like, oh shit! Well, I gotta fucking watch it now. So, but my son remember my son said he might want to watch it. So I waited until he got home. We watched it during dinner tonight. So, but I was just a little confused. But again, I'll tune back into it next Wednesday when it comes out, and see where it goes. So,
yeah, I will definitely report back after they all watch it to see what they think of it.
I'm developing a theory, but I'll let everybody else finish before I throw it out.
I'm done because I'm just going to go on gushing about how great it was and all that.
No, just adding what Corbs is saying. I'm looking at it with a fresh eye myself. Like, I know nothing about Moon. Yeah, I'm probably gonna butcher the name. Like I said, I'm learning new things, but I know about the Marvel universe. But I'm learning. Like, I love Ethan Hawke. It's very scary, but like it is a slow burn, but very good. I'm gonna learn new things and hopefully educate Paul, but probably not.
Yeah, call him
I would
Moon
not.
Guy. Call him Moon Guy. That'll piss Paul off every time.
I can't do that.
Just call him Marvel's Batman. That'll push buttons.
But no, what's your theory, Kev? What were you saying?
This was done this way on purpose because it puts you in his shoes. You are now as confused as he is.
okay.
Probably not wrong.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, Kev. Yeah, because you can understand what's going on. You're living through him at that point. So yeah, I get that. I wouldn't disagree with
risky. That's risky in this day
No,
and age.
no doubt. But here's how they mitigated the risk. They got some fantastic actors to pull it.
And I really like the effects they use when he is switching. Like the first time they do it, I was from like, what the fuck is going on? And then you see him basically pass out, and then it jumps back. I like that.
Yep.
I like that so far until that very ending scene, we don't get to see what happens with Mark. Like the best is when he just comes to it, he's fucking covered in blood, just standing there.
Like, what the hell just happened? Or his jaw is dislocated. And
yes. Or when he comes back with the gun and he throws it at the truck.
Did you just throw the gun at?
Oh, great. The idiot's in charge. And I love how Khonshu has no tolerance for Steven. Like, dude, the moron's back, I think was one of the lines at one point. And then what was it? I recited the line back to you, Kev, earlier when they said something about the Avatar. And he goes, "Oh, those blue guys. I love that movie."
I love that movie.
But that's it. I'm not going to go on any more with this. I'm super excited for the next 5 weeks. Probably the most of anybody on the show or watching the show. So
I'm a lot more excited about it now that I remember Fist of Khonshu. Believe me.
Yeah.
No, but taking what you said about that, do we know? Like, I love your show. I don't want to take away from it, but is Marvel, now that Disney owns it, because what I really liked was on Netflix is Daredevil. Are they going to bring back like a 4th season of that? Like, now that Disney owns it,
they're
like
working
Charlie
on
Cox,
something.
Is he coming back? Do we know?
Yes, he's definitely coming back.
Okay.
They're doing something. It's already in pre-production, and all that stuff is now on Disney Plus. All the Netflix shows.
Right, because it's now TV MA. You have to like sign like a pin to get into Disney Plus.
Yep. Saw that the other day when I logged on to Disney.
Yeah.
So if they bring a 4th season of that back, that's where it's good.
Yeah.
They brought back Kingpin in Hawkeye.
Yep.
And I believe, didn't somebody say, one of you guys say that you saw Matt at the end of that show too?
Yeah, he's in it.
He was in Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Spider-Man. He's
No Way Home. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
that was a cool spoiler. That was a really cool.
Yeah. Matt, not Daredevil, just as the lawyer in it. So
for now.
Yeah. Until we
He's
get
a really good lawyer.
He never put the suit on the entire time he was in the one they were all together. What the hell do they call that? The Defenders?
Yeah.
Yeah. He never put his suit on the entire time. So
that's weird too. Never did finish watching that one.
Oh, sorry, spoiler.
That's okay. Do we have anything else, or should we just drop some nuggets here?
Not gonna talk about the dead.
Oh, yeah, we did kind of breeze over that, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we only got 7 minutes left.
It's good.
It is good, and I'm still enjoying it. I did like the very uncomfortable meeting between Negan and Maggie's son. Yeah.
Herschel. That's tough.
So looking forward to seeing how it wraps up. Sorry, Hugh, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go on.
No, I'm just looking. I'm interested to see how this.
I heard what you said. Go on. I thought we were done talking about Walking Dead.
I am.
Oh, I just have one last thing that I have to say. Kevin, you keep my snake's not name out of your fucking mouth. You keep my snake's not name out your fucking mouth.
Are you going to slap me? You're going to do a walk on?
Right. That would be great if you could just walk into his frame.
I'll slap.
Okay,
you walk through that door.
I gotta ask this question.
All right.
Did you see him slap him?
Yes.
Did you see it live, or did you watch it the next day?
I watched it that night.
You watched it? Okay.
Not live, but like right after it happened, I went and found the footage online.
Okay. Does it look like he actually hits him?
Yes.
No.
The way he rocks him back.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. If it's the angle that I'm seeing or whatever, it looks like it's completely staged.
Yep.
That's been floated out there quite a bit. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was staged to help Chris Rock in his new comedy show that's his tour that's going on. I don't know, but it looked like a staged movie slap.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible.
To me, I mean, and they both kind of played it off and whatnot. I mean, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But from the angle they were showing, it looked like he missed by about that far.
Or more.
Or more.
I'm catching what you're throwing. I agree with you.
So, I'd say
it's possible.
Anything's possible.
We don't know. We won't know.
No, you'll never know. You'll never know.
No, we won't.
I mean, it could be like the Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah.
You know, we won't know until one of them passes away.
Right.
So.
All right.
You know what we can know? Whatever Paul's wisdom nugget is for the week.
Ooh.
Say it, Corbs.
You gonna drop some nuggets?
Drinking a Bloody Mary is basically the equivalent to drinking pasta sauce with a splash of vodka. Good night, everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.